Order in court. All rise. Department 1 of the Superior Court upon case number 105, Tier 7 is now in session. Please be seated. Members of the jury, your duty today will be to determine whether the defendant should be justified as a psychopath or not according to case 105, Tier 7, based only on facts and evidence provided in this case. With all parties, the defendant and her defense attorney, the prosecutor, and witnesses and members of jury present in the courtroom, we will now begin the trial. Will the parties state their appearances for the record?
Your Honor, I'm the prosecutor Yoon Do-hyun.
Your Honor, I'm the defense attorney Oh Dong-hyun for the defendant Park Hye-jin.
Are both the prosecutor and defense attorney ready to proceed the trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Prosecution, you may proceed with your opening statement of whether the defendant should be justified as a psychopath or not.
Thank you, Your Honor. During the last trial, the defendant was assigned a life imprisonment due to actions concerning the murder of the old man. This is because she was not deemed as a psychopath. The old man was choked to death and his body was mutilated into pieces. On inquiry, the reason was that the old man's eye was like the eye of a vulture and it made her feel cold. Members of the court, please remind yourself that the defendant has killed the victim solely due to his eye. Nothing more, nothing less. Even from this fact, we can infer that the defendant is not like the general public, but a psychopath. For these reasons, if she is in prison, she would harm to other inmates. Also, an imprisonment has the possibility of early release. For the sake of justice and for the protection of fellow members of the court, she should be isolated from society in a mental facility for the sake of both parties. Thank you.
Thank you. Defense attorney, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Honorable Judge, ladies and gentlemen, I am the defense attorney for the following case concerning my client and the suspected murder of the dead man. There have been claims that my client has indeed committed the crime, and furthermore claiming her as a psychopath, one without logic or empathy, and instead filled with instant emotions of hatred and anger. Your Honor, I now call upon my client as my first witness to explain the emotions she had.
Very well. Will the victim stand and under the name of justice tell only the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Park. Without further ado, I will now begin the interrogation. Were you without any positive emotions or feelings towards the victim?
Oh, great, sir. I've always loved the man. I couldn't have possibly hated because I wasn't hungry for his affluent wealth. But his eye, his cold, murky, vulture eye, is what sent shivers down my spine, to which I've decided I should close the eye forever. 'Tis all. Even to this day, before I committed the crime, I was as friendly to the old man as I could be.
How well were you acquainted with your neighbor? Would you say that you and him were friendly?
Every day when I went to see the old man, I would say good morning and share some of my lunch with him. Nothing more, nothing less.
Were you without logic when you performed the crime?
Does it seem like I wasn't? I committed the crime not because I hated the man, just like a maniac would do. I did it because of his eye. If it weren't for his eye, I wouldn't have done it so precisely, so carefully. No madman is able to do so with such precision. Of course I was with logic when performing the murder.
Thank you. That is all, Your Honor.
Very well. The prosecution may cross-examine the witness.
Defendant, you said that you killed the old man only due to his eye. and mutilated his dead body since you heard his heartbeat. Is that so? Also, you added that you're not mad, for your plan was very sophisticated. However, all the things you mentioned to prove you're not mad are actually the behavior they usually do.
Objection! Irrelevant, Your Honor. This prosecution is leading the witness.
Objection. Overruled. Continue.
Defendant, please describe the murder truthfully.
As you wish. For 1 whole week, I planned to kill the monstrous eye. Every single night, I would sneak into his room, unlatch my lantern, and peek if the eye was awake. But every single time, the eye was closed until I made it open. And on that night, the eye opened one last time as the man screeched for his life. 'Tis all, prosecutor.
Honorable Judge, I would like to call my first witness, the police officer at the crime scene. Police officer, you're at the crime scene, right?
Yes.
Please describe the situation and the defendant's behavior at the time in detail.
On that day, police authority had received a call from the neighbor of the victim that he heard the old man crying in the night. So the police had immediately went to the scene. When we started searching the scene, actually, we have not discovered something special. Since we have thought the situation is not so serious, we were willing to leave the scene immediately. However, as the time went by, she started to show very strange symptoms, and it made us change our mind. And eventually, she confessed us that she had committed the murder, and she revealed the dead body of the victim under the house. This is the old man's dead body in the scene.
Thank you.
Thank you. No further questions.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer, are you certain that my client committed the murder?
Of course, not only myself, but also 2 other fellow officers in the scene had witnessed her confession.
How would you describe the state of my client as you were talking in the room? Was she happy, even calm?
When we first arrived in the scene, she kindly let us in and she let us search the scene freely. She even gave us a cup of tea while we were searching. At that time, we were certain that she is not related to the murder. However, as the time went by, she started to shiver her leg, talk louder and faster, and especially she touched her ear frequently. And she looked really nervous, and she crazily shouted to us that she had committed the crime. That's all.
Thank you. No further questions. And I would like to call my second witness, the caller of the crime, the neighbor.
Very well. We will proceed with the trial with the defendant's second witness, the neighbor.
Thank you for participating, sir. How would you describe the relationship between my client and the victim?
I could never imagine her killing the old man. When I see her walking around with the old man, they seem like they love each other. And this is so absurd. How can you accuse her of being a psychopath?
The prosecution may cross-examine the witness.
A pleasure, Your Honor. Neighbor, you're at the crime scene and you called the police, right? So, how was the noise level in the middle of the night, and how was the relationship between the defendant and the old man day to day?
Once again, they were wonderful. And as for the noise, I heard a big sound at 4 o'clock. And I was so scared, and I thought it was from my little cat. But after finding my cat asleep, I just called the police right away. That's all.
Nothing more, Your Honor. I would like to call my final witness, the Professor Che. Welcome. And could you please present the results of the field study of the defendant?
Honorable Judge and fellow members of jury, I'm psychologist Choi Min-ji. My team and I analyzed the suspect's motive of murder and morality through the field study, and we have concluded that she is a psychopath. Regardless of anything, simply for pleasure and sudden euphoria, she has rationalized her behavior with a lack of sympathy or guilt. Controlled by self-centered thoughts on being motivated to kill the poor old man merely due to his eye. These are the papers of her condition. She may seem normal, however, ladies and gentlemen, her actions cannot be justified as a specific cause and effect and were unusual. She is indeed a psychopath.
Objection! Speculation, Your Honor.
Do that?
Order in court. I repeat, order in court. Does the witness have anything else to say?
Is there any more to prove the suspect is truly psychopath after seeing this? Nothing more, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I rest my case.
Very well then. Defense, do you have any final remarks on the case?
Yes, Your Honor. Virtuous members of the court. A psychopath is defined as a person without any empathy and feeling for all victims. They are seen as attackers without much logic to their crime. However, according to all the evidences presented today, and through a deeper look into the situations of my client, you can identify that she is far from a psychopath, but as normal as you and me. I ask you now to question the definitions that the medical community gives this woman. Could the observations of science really be stronger than one's own emotions and feelings? Could merely observing, without the background, tell the truth? My client and I do not believe that the court has the right to deem a citizen a psychopath without accurate evidence, and further state that the court and the country has mistreated her. She therefore asks for a trial on libeling, and is further a sane person. That is all, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, you have heard all of the testimony concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine the facts. You and you alone are the judges of the facts. With this, the court is adjourned.
Thank you for watching both of the trials, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yes, I hope everyone has a good dinner, because dinner is delicious today. And thank you for coming.
자, 이제 각자 면학실로 돌아가셔도 되고요. 오늘 참여했던 학생들 사진 찍고 갈게요. 두 팀 같이 찍자고.
네네네. 근데 여기 앉아보세요. 가면 되지 않을까? 일단 서면 어떻게? 한 줄이 숙이든가. 옷 입은 사람이 뒤로 가고 교복이 앞으로 있어. 교복이 잡고 들어가면 좀 보이지. 저는 뒤로 될 것 같아요. 네가 앞으로. 거기가 앞으로. 저기 숙여봐. 뒤에는 안 쓰셔도 돼요. 뒤에 서세요. 뒤에 서세요. 뒤에 서세요. 앞에만 쓰세요. 자, 1, 2, 3. 한 번 더. 1, 2, 3. 한 번 더.
희은쌤도 같이 찍을래? 내가 찍어줄까? 희은쌤?
아니, 나는 내려가는 게 없어. 나는 그냥.
야 너희 근데 되게 어이없이 예쁘게 나와.
One more. 1, 2, 3.
진짜 예뻐 보여.